Hey toy and collectible fans, this is Fly Guy for TekSushi.com giving you a look at a DX-12 Hot Toys The Dark Knight Rises Batman. It's a pretty stunning figure, as of all these Hot Toys been in the past. You can just see the detail here, a little hard to see, the box is so black. But there's the DX-12 logo, The Dark Knight Rises. It's a very kind of matte, flat box, so it's very hard for the camera to pick that up. But you can see the Dark Knight emblem there, printed on that. Nothing else really on the box, apart from the back. Oh, big meaty heavy box. DX the logo, Hot Toys, and some indecipherable little details there, and the Warner Brothers logo. So it's a huge ass box, absolutely massive. Coffin style thing. Inside, magnetic holders again on the side. As you open it up, you get to see inside. On one side we have the Batman kind of pencil chalk drawing, and on the other side is a bit of a blueprint for the Dark Knight Rises bat. And if we have a look at that, what I mean by the bat is if you remember the vehicle from the movie called the Bat. There we go, and that's a little blueprint which is removable. It can come out of its little slot that it's got in there, but there's nothing behind it. So sponged kind of top, and underneath that and inside it we get the guts of the figure. And there we go, we'll have a look at it. So you get a few bits and pieces in there. One is an alternative head for Bruce Wayne. We'll take that out and look at that in a little bit in a minute. The figure itself is embedded within there. We get an alternative utility belt. We've got one on the figure, but here's a different one here. And up at the top is a couple of different faces. One where it's kind of clenched teeth, and one that's just a mouth closed, basically, of a metallic kind of piece which clinches onto the front of the Dark Knight figure, and we'll show you that in just a sec. Underneath that box there, there's another part which holds the cape and the stand, which you'll get to see in just a second. So I picked this up from shopforme.com.au, great reseller here in Australia, and God bless got shopforme.com.au, and I mean it because we just would not get these things for a reasonable price here in Oz. So thank you guys, you do a great job, and shipped this very quickly and promptly, so I'm very appreciative of that. Now inside the package itself you get a bit of a user guide. You do need to read this because it is quite a fiddly figure. A few changes here to previous figures that we've seen in the DX range, and that is that this is a magnetic head that Batman has. You'll see it is basically there, and underneath this has a strong magnet inside which clips onto the head itself. So quite different from wedging the figure out before. Comes with a little tool which allows you to use the pair system. That's the parallel eyeball rolling system that it's got, where you can position the eyeballs. It all makes a whole lot more sense once you get to see it. There you go, there's an image down there. Shove the stick up inside Bat's head, wiggle his eyes around and make him look extra creepy. There we go. Flip over the page, and this is what I was talking about with the different face aspects. So you can poke out a little bit, which allows you to have different faces, and there's the three we've got there. One a kind of frown, one a slight smile, and one with some teeth. That's it. You can take the entire Bat's head off and you can just put in the Bruce Wayne head as we showed earlier on. And a few other bits and pieces. The cape is an absolute bitch to connect. It's really, really hard. So freeze the frame if you want to, or if you bought this, you've obviously got your own instructions. But it's a little bit fiddly. Once you get it, it makes sense, but it's a little bit confusing. So it drove me nuts for ages, and DC was the same on his. So the legs, the suit itself, the overall body is super articulated with a kind of fibrous body stretched across it, so you can't stretch it too far without causing damage to it. Some very complex weapons inside this, and we'll show you them again in a minute, but wow, these things are absolutely unbelievable. So we'll show you these weapons. They fold and they connect and they all come apart, and they're magnetic and they clip to the belt, so pretty stunning. You can see the detail there of them folding all the way down and clipping onto the belt. And there is also the kind of grappling gun which attacks to the utility belt B. So you get two options. Utility belt A comes with those two options, or B which comes with that. You've also got this weapon here which we get to see in the Dark Knight Rises, which has some lights on it, and that allows you to well, turn on the lights basically. That's it. It can also attach to the Batpod. Got the back pod, haven't yet reviewed it, but we'll get round to that one day. But that can clip on and looks rather cool from the screenshot of the image that I've seen. And the only other thing to show you there is the figure stand. So the figure stand comes with batteries with some very small, very faint lights which sit down at the bottom. It's a bit of a bulky figure stand this time, not my favourite, but still cool nonetheless. And then we go on to different language settings for it. But make sure you read the user guide, it's pretty useful. So let's get a look at the stand first of all and get that out of the way. It's a meaty, heavy stand. So we've got a little bit of snow to emulate the movie setting there in The Dark Knight Rises, and this sunken, slightly sunken piece on the steps, all cracked and worn, and there's a little bit of a plaque there which has some had a bit of a kind of plastic over it which I've just peeled off. And these lights, they're very weak, I have to say, they don't really do a great job, so I haven't put any lights in them. And there's the bat cod piece which basically allows you to set Batman on, and the on-off switch at the back. So pretty basic stand. I really do wish this huge honking heavy piece wasn't there, because it makes Batman rise way above all of the other figures and it just doesn't look the best. So hope Hot Toys go back to the basic simple stands, please. That's much preferred for me. On with the figure. Now again, lots of weapons on this guy and we'll show you them in just a sec. But this one straight away is pretty damn killer. So we'll take this out of his hands for just now. Hopefully I can get that out without causing too much of a fuss. Come on, bats, cough up your weapon. There we go. And here we go. It also comes with this piece that you can do that. You can basically pump it back and forth if you want. And a great sequence in the movie. Underneath there's a small switch. If I pump that on, there we go, some lights light up. And that's it. That's the weapon. It's very detailed. It's absolutely down to all the kind of expectations you would have of Hot Toys for the movie. Even the handle, all the grips, all the parts and pieces are all prevalent and there. It looks the part, very much so. And lights up pretty well, and he holds it very good as well. Very decent grip on him to hold on to that. Let me just turn that off. Now the other weapons that he's got on the back of his belt, we'll show you these. Very confusing to, it's like a Tetris puzzle. You can pull this out, you can pull that along there. What else happens? I can't remember actually. There's all sorts of stuff on this, but eventually, yeah, you can see where this is going. It's it kind of, all these pieces come in and out and it folds up. As we showed earlier on, it's very complex. My little pea brain anyway. There we go. So you can see the weapon all configures to become one piece overall. But there's a magnet inside this as well. So the magnet allows this to be clipped onto the belt. The other one here, again, this is a little confusing. But you can see the detail that goes on. That stock comes down, this comes out. I think that goes back the way or forwards. There we go. It goes on and on. It's really, the whole thing can basically be configured to be a weapon, and it all comes together. So it's beautifully detailed and well done. But I'm not even going to pretend to try and put this all together again, because it confused the hell out of me the last time. So there we go. So all one piece. You can see it put together there again in that lower piece down there, just down there. There we go. So again, it all clips on, and again, both magnetic. Let's get on with the figure finally. And his head is a little weird. So the head sculpt itself is good. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the way they've molded this. Whoops, the way they've molded this figure together, in terms of the detail of that mouthpiece that comes away with this all in one cowl, but I guess that's movie accurate. The cape's beautiful. I'm not one for normally going on about fabric, but it's beautifully made and detailed. It's very flowing and soft and cape-like, as it should be, and underneath is the kind of shiny aspect to it. It's very hard to see, but one side is very shiny, one side is a little bit more matte, but it just works really well. I believe the matte side is on the outside, shiny underneath. The figure is overall super articulated, and this mesh body is placed overall, making, you can see there, kind of stretching this fibrous body. You just see that kind of webbing across it there. It makes it really easy to move the figure around and give articulation to him, especially in the feet, which is slightly separated. But definitely the best Batman yet in terms of the look of the suit, I would say. Great utility belt. I've added the little bat wing clip there, and this utility belt has the magnet pieces at the back, which if I take that cape out of the way, I take one of these weapons, you should be able to, if I can see that properly, there we go, that just clips on. And it's pretty secure, stays on there pretty well. And the same for the other weapon, you can clip that onto the back of it. So there's the back of the figure for those that want to see it. It's a bat bum. But these are damn sharp, these things here, so watch what you're doing with them. They really are bloody sharp. And solid as well, so great detail on the figure overall. The suit and the body armour really are the thing that kind of makes this figure, as I said earlier on. And the look and feel of the figure, I'm just not a huge, I don't know, the likeness is okay for me, but this new mask that they put on is not super great. And I'm not a great fan of this new head system. I do prefer the solid head swap. So you could put Bruce Wayne's head on there if you wanted to. It's even got that little Adam's apple on the detail, and pop that in. So there's a bit more of a close-up, and let's see if I can take you in a little bit more into this detail. There we go. So the detail on those eyeballs again is pretty fantastic. It's beautifully done by Hot Toys. It fits, it works. It looks the part, but I'm just not a huge fan of this one, I have to say. I'm more and more a fan of the Joker and less a fan of Batman, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know why, but less worried about Batman, more interested in some of the Joker and the versions he has. Much cooler. So it's a good figure. It works pretty well and connects all the parts easily, and if you've got the Batcycle or the tumbler, you've got a great addition to your collection there. The webbing suit is particularly good, and the flexibility of the figure this time as compared to, say, the Michael Keaton Batman version, which was very difficult and awkward to pose, which I ended up letting go after a while. This is a much better Batman. It just gives you much more control over it overall. It's a good figure. Again, I think this was around the 220 mark, I think it was off the top of my head. Shopforme.com.au were certainly a lot cheaper than anywhere else I'd seen, even with shipping from the Sideshow and so forth, so definitely check them out. And that's it, but let us know what you think. Is this another Hot Toys for you? Have you got any Hot Toys in your collection? Do you want any in your collection, especially at this price? It's definitely a high-end collectible, but then again, we even have higher-end collectibles like the Interby huge, massive, I think it's a 12-inch figure, or a quarter scale figure, so these things really can go to some size, but let us know what you think. And if you like what we do, give us a subscribe or a like, and you can join us on Facebook, facebook.com/TekSushi, youtube.com/TekSushi, twitter.com/TekSushi, or Google+, just search TekSushi. And we'll see you for more figure reviews and Hot Toys coming up soon. Cheers.